Hello everybody, this is Debbie, from Teacher Success Coach. I just came off a show, and the show we were looking at traditional education, alternative to traditional education. Some people call it homeschooling, some people call it home education, but I call it alternative to traditional education because it is an alternative to the traditional education. Because what I'm setting out to do is to demonstrate to parents that they do not have to stick rigidly to the traditional education. We know the traditional education doesn't always work, right? And we know that it is outdated. We also know that it is broken. We also know that there's no point in fixing it. So as parents and as educators, we need to support the alternative to what is deemed the traditional. Because traditional education, for me, I'm seeing it more and more every day in the classroom. The children are so programmed. It's like they have to sit quietly in rows, face the front, look at the teacher when they're talking. In one school, they say these children have to lean slightly forward, all this jazz. Human being doesn't work like that. But that's what we seem to expect from our children in the classroom. So I'm all about traditional alternative to traditional education, and I'm all about, trying to empower students to express their creativity, the innovativeness, and things like that. Because when I look at school right now, when I look at some of my colleagues' classroom, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, how are these children sitting through this? Because in some classrooms, they're so comfortable just giving the student worksheets. They sit there, complete the worksheet, and that's it. And some students are going to say to you, Miss, this doesn't work, Every lesson, all we do is fill in the worksheet. For some students, it works well. For the majority of students, it doesn't work well. We also need to remember that the brain functions by using all the senses and also being creative and innovative. We need to do that. That's how we learn. Anyway, so I've just come off the show, talking to one of my guests from the US, in California about, what she's doing, because she's an alternative to the traditional education. And it's wonderful because it's interesting. Parents need to remember that there are alternatives. Anyway, before I actually got talking about that, that's what I actually came on to talk about was, what are you grateful for today? And what is your win for today? Every day, there are so many things we have to be grateful for, or we ought to be grateful for. One of the first things I'm always grateful for is life, because I've got life and I've made it, and there's so many opportunities out there for me to express and use and enjoy and and see out there. Opportunity is great, and my win is I'm alive. So it's the great gratitude I'm alive. The win is I'm alive. I actually went and helped a friend of mine today. And it actually reminds me how grateful I ought to be, because there's sometimes when in the moment, we in our feelings that we're not even looking outside of the box. We're so in our feeling that that's all that matters. But there's sometimes we need to pause and reflect and ask yourself, are you being fair in terms of see how you see life? You need to remind yourself that you have made it, you're alive. So that is something to be grateful for. Plus, as a result of you being here, there are lots of opportunities you need to actually make the most of. And do a lot of things you didn't do yesterday, you need to try to do it today, because the opportunity is there. And as I was saying, I went and helped a friend of mine today. And I've been going through a journey in terms of, trying to plow through this journey I've been going through. And as I said, sometimes when we in or going on our journey, we're so much in the feeling, in our feeling, we don't see outside of the box. And my friend is partially sighted. She's got problem with her eyes. And while I was helping and supporting her, you know, some of the things I was taking for granted, I realized that she's not able to see well. Because in terms of, you know, we were on a phone call and she's saying to me, oh, Debbie, can you press the button so you could actually put it on loudspeaker? And it actually really dawned on me, oh my goodness, something like that she wasn't able to see. So it actually made me slightly emotional and slightly, you know, look at things in perspective. Because too often when we are going through our own journey, we fail to realize that we are in our feeling and we need to look at the bigger picture. And when we are going through this journey, we also think that, oh, it's not going to come to an end. You know, it's like we're plowing through, and the more we plow through this journey, you think, oh, gosh, when am I going to see the, you know, get to the other end of it, because it's really challenging, you know. But anytime we're going through those tests, you know, it's like something actually dawned on me a few days ago when I was going through my journey. I'm still going through these challenges. But anytime we go into a test, it also tests our resilience. It tests our confidence. It tests our staying power. It's also tests in terms of how are we able to navigate things. So all these tests we are having, which are all challenges we're going through, it actually enables us to test ourselves through when we start reflecting. You know, do we have this staying power? Do we have this confidence? Do we have the resilience to go through it? And something you need to remind yourself, this time will pass. Nothing lasts forever. So whatever journey or challenges you're going through right now, I understand, I'm very empathetic, but one thing you must remember, this time will pass. You are going through the storm. Just think it, you know, when there is a hurricane, you know, the hurricane would come and sometimes it come with treacherous rain, and it's just really heavy. And then you're asking yourself, oh my goodness, when would this storm pass? Sometimes the storm is only for 10 minutes, you know, but because it is so intense, you're asking yourself, would it ever end? And the 10 minutes could seem so long. And when you actually check the time, you realize, oh my goodness, this storm was only for 10 minutes. But because of the intensity, because of the volume, it just seems longer. However, that storm did pass. Right? In the same way, whatever challenge you're going through, it would pass. It might seem that if it's not ending, but you need to hold on to it and have faith and remember that this time will pass and you'll be at the other end of it. And on reflection, when you check to see how long you were in that storm, you realize, you know, in the whole scheme of things, it wasn't very long. But when we are in our feelings and when we are going through situation, the challenges, it just seems so long. I understand. But remember and remind yourself, this time will pass, and it does pass. And when you're at the other end and you reflect back at it, you're thinking, oh my goodness, that was tough. But I also know that it was going to pass. So whatever storm you're going through now, just hold on. Just hold on. Just hang in there. And remind yourself that this time will pass, because everything comes to an end, and believe me, it does pass. Anyway, I just thought I'll just drop this in. Yeah, and you know, when I was with my friend, it just reminded me in terms of how much I take things for granted, and how much when I'm in my feelings, I don't look at reality, because I'm so into the feeling. All I'm seeing is, you know, what is coming at me. But when you actually start reflecting and see how what's going on with other people. Oh my goodness. You have to be very grateful. And I left my friend and I was thinking about it as I was walking home, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, Debbie, what are you complaining about? Okay, yes, you're going through a storm, but at the same time, this storm will pass and you'll come out at the other end. But you have to be so grateful for what you've got, and remind yourself what you haven't got doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter because you haven't got it. So what you have right now, you need to be grateful about. You need to be grateful for. You need to celebrate it. You need to, use it to elevate yourself. Because you know what you haven't got, there's no time to miss it. What you have, you need to enjoy it and celebrate it. Anyway, guys, take care, stay blessed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Or no, maybe not tomorrow, but I'll see you guys on Monday when I go back to my sixth form students, because they've got exams next week. So I could imagine the anxiety when I go into the classroom, the anxiety I'm going to be faced with. Oh, miss, I cannot do it, etc. I already gave them a pep talk on Friday. On Thursday is when I saw them that everything is possible, and the only person that is blocking them is themselves, and they need to stop, being the limiters, because we are the one that limit ourselves. The sky is not the limit. Beyond the sky is the limit, and we need to remind ourselves of that. Anyway, guys, remember, you need to love yourself before you could love anybody else. And nobody could love you as you love you. And every time you pass next to a mirror, you look in that mirror and remind yourself of your beauty. Remind yourself of your gifts. Sometimes it's challenging to look in the mirror and see the beauty in yourself. But the more you do it, the more it becomes natural to you. So remind yourself of your gift and your beauty, and you have a lot to share. And the impact you're making on other people. We are all here for a reason and a purpose, and we all make impact on other people. And most of all, we make it on ourselves. So remember to love upon yourself. Anyway, guys, take care, stay blessed, have a fantastic evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are. And I'll see you guys on Monday. Bye-bye. Thanks a lot for listening.